The leader of Hamas just called Muslims around the world to embrace a day of global jihad this Friday the 13th. So while you guys are all focused on this, but by the way, these are all brothers. The real invasion is coming to America. Reading of the book of Obadiah. The day of Adonai is near. For the day of Adonai is near upon all the nations. As you have done, it shall be done to you, and your deeds shall return upon your heads. Everything that was done to Israel, his children, and Judah gets returned to the nations of the world. In other words, Judgment Day. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And the time of the Gentiles was fulfilled in 2019. As you can see here in the scripture reading in the book of Revelation, Satan will be led out of his prison, together with Gog and Magog and all the nations of the world, will come to fight who? God's people in Jerusalem. And where's Russia and China going to invade? America, making America Jerusalem. Have you not realized that these people changed the maps, the calendars? For history is written by the victor. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given authority over a fourth of the earth, to kill with the sword, with famine, and pestilence, and by wild beasts on the earth. Do not pollute the land where you are. Bloodshed pollutes the land. And atonement cannot be made for that land on which the blood has been shed, except by the blood of the ones that shed it. District of Columbia, the three cities that run the world. Washington, D.C., Obama, the beast. The city of London, the red dragon, King Charles. Vatican City, the false prophet. All U.S. presidents are related minus one to the King of England. The bottom, the three cities that run the world. Above it, Synagogue of Satan, Vatican. Queen, Antichrist. The king of Babylon always sits in America. Obama will be the last pharaoh in America. For those that don't know, the queen is the descendant of Muhammad, making them Muslim, which also makes Obama Muslim. If you look up the word planets in gematria, it tells you right there, Obama, Satan. And pastor in gematria, Allah is Satan. So the Vatican created Christianity. I'll be coming back to Christianity. But they also created Islam. Pure Luciferian, created for what? For jihad. This way they'll have clean hands. They have one brother kill the other brothers. Because these are Ishmaelites. And Ishmael was the half-brother of Isaac. And as you can see in the reading of Psalms 83, they joined the Edomites to destroy Israel. And as you can see on the top, right there, Sharia law. Sharia law is coming where? To America. Because these so-called immigrants, they're coming through our borders. Because they're coming from mostly Muslim countries. Is it starting to make sense to you now? These Abrahamic religions, they all serve Satan, the cube of Allah. When they came into our lands, they gave us a God to worship. The Crusaders, the Inquisition, and you did not worship the image of that God and that cross, the image that they gave us to worship, they will kill you. The scripture tells you that they will give us another Joshua. And this is the Joshua they gave us, the one that ended the law, who ended the Sabbath, who ended the feast days, and who is worshipped and sits on most people's minds. And the ones that gave us the pagan holidays like Easter and Christmas. Yeah, this one right here. Because Joshua was nailed to a tree, not a cross. The blue bloods, the royal family, are carriers of the Rh negative blood type, what happens to be the Draco blood type. The Anunnakis from heaven to earth come. And I looked, and there before me was a white horse. Its rider held a bow, and he was given a crown. And he rode out to conquer, bent on conquest. And he was given a crown, the coronation. Notice how Osiris is green, because he was a reptilian. And you see how he's holding those two rods? There he goes during his coronation. Magog, Joseph's son. Who are the children of Japhet? There goes the Greeks and Romans, the ones that gave us our religion. And there goes Russia. Grand Tutorial were descendants of Japhet. And that also including the Chinese. And Grand Tutorial was erased from historical records. That was the original Tower of Babel. And they're just finishing where they started. Grand Tutorial, early Tartar flags, Russia. And by the way, Putin is a so-called Christian. And these were found in caves in Russia. That's a story for another time. At one point, they are going to attack the power grid because it tells you right there, kill your TV. And it's Russia who's going to do it. Illuminati playing cards, New World Order. Martial law, because martial law is coming. Martial law takes place when there's an act of war or a terrorist attack, like the one they're trying to do on February the 13th. So martial law is coming. Also, remember, everything starts in China first. Then it's implemented throughout the world. Maybe the martial law will happen when they shut down the banks like they did in China. And they put tanks in front of the banks and people couldn't get access to their bank account. And they started them on the social credit system because it's going to happen worldwide. Remember the U.S. National Emergency Day on October 4th? It's interesting to me how Russia also had a National Emergency Alert Day on the same day. And you know how all our devices are interconnected? It sounds to me that they took the opportunity to take all our information and give it to the Russians. So now the Russians have all our information.
Internet of Things. 6.4 billion connected devices now serve as collection points, mapping and recording our daily routines, making a more secure and more invasive system. But who else is listening? Big Brother no longer works alone. Thousands of little brothers monitor and aggregate your every move, building a complete digital profile of you to be bought, sold, or stolen in an instant. Toys study your children, reporting their play habits back to marketers. Appliances, consoles, and home security systems give corporations a window into your private life. Control of your vehicle and mobile device can now be reached remotely by anyone at any time. You may think that you are immune or underestimate the risk, but your digital shadow is already compromised. Insurance companies use algorithms to monitor your life habits and limit or deny coverage. Health providers determine if your cancer is worth treating. Search results and news feeds are skewed to bias mood and influence your vote, engineering social uprisings on a massive scale. You are now less valuable than the data you produce. This is the new reality. Going dark is no longer an option. With threats to personal freedom rising, many are stepping forward. Whistleblowers, activists, and hackers have drawn their battle lines, putting the establishment on watch. But are they threats themselves, or have they become freedom's last line of defense?
Entertainment purposes only. Pay attention, because word on the street is they planning a grid attack. Yeah, communications, bank accounts, the telephone, Wi-Fi. Just watch this.
U.S. warning that Chinese hackers are positioning themselves to attack critical U.S. infrastructure. Eamon Jabbers joins us from D.C. with some exclusive reporting. Eamon.
Hey there, Morgan. That's right. American officials are scrambling to make sure potential weaknesses in the software used to operate American infrastructure have not been penetrated by Chinese and Russian hostile actors. They're focusing on the threat to so-called open source software, which is developed by hobbyists and others and then put into the public domain. Software companies that make infrastructure systems often use large chunks of open source code in their programs, but the fear here is that hackers could be developing this code, releasing it to the...
What a coinkadink. A couple months ago, Dallas was shut down from hackers. Communications. There was no calling the police or the firefighters. And what a coinkadink. Some people were claiming that the Russians did it. I'm just saying, stay on your toes, gang. Stay on your toes. Anything can happen.
Hey, I had an interesting conversation with a cop yesterday. Very nonchalant, very out of the blue. I was standing there getting me a Red Bull, and he was drinking his coffee. And I was asking him, I said, what do you think is getting ready to happen in society and to this country? You know what he told me? Blew my mind. He said, everything is getting ready to go to hell. Most of the people in his department are a part of the secret brotherhood. He says that he can't talk to them about anything. But he is a believer in Christ, and yes, he is a white guy. And I do salute him because he believes in the total truth of the Bible. He said that when this stuff happens, he is going to get his family prepared. He said the police department is not going to be anywhere around to help anybody when martial law starts because they're going to be focused on their families. You got to understand, the police department, these law officers, these policemen, they're going to be food on the table too. So he basically told me to keep my head on a swivel and stay woke.
Air Force are
Fucking
looking
listen.
to overcome recruiting shortfalls. They've ramped up their marketing, including on social media, to entice legal immigrants to enlist. They're also using recruiters with similar backgrounds to appeal to potential recruits. But the biggest draw for migrants is the promise of a fast track to citizenship, plus jobs and education benefits. Both the Army and the Air Force have said they will not meet their recruiting goals this year.
So was this the plan all along? I'm just saying. Was this the plan all along? On why they let all these fighting age men, immigrants, come over here in America? Because we know nothing ever happens just for no reason, you know. Now they're starting to recruit the immigrants into the Navy and the fucking Army. Y'all just heard that shit. Now that makes sense. I'm just saying. That is the most logical reason, me personally, the most logical reason that I could think of on why out of all these years, we just now, out of all the time, hey, yeah, let's let all these immigrants come over here. We're going to feed them. And we already know that Big Brother don't do nothing for free. Yeah, everything comes with a cost. Join the Army and the Navy. Hoorah.
Where's everybody coming from? Synagogue? Where are you going? Hold on, get in the line right here. Hey, where are you going? Synagogue. Well, you're from Synagogue, but where are you going? Right here, they'll pick you up right here. You can have a seat
Michigan.
here. Huh?
Michigan.
Michigan, you?
Senegal. No, from the job.
St. Louis. St. Louis, you?
New York.
New York, you?
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, you? Thank you.
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus, Ohio, thank you. Where are you going? New York. Where you going?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, thank you. You? Atlanta? You?
New York.
New York, thank you. You?
New York.
New York, all right.
Yeah, New York.
New York, Atlanta, New York.
Yeah, New York.
And you stay?
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
California.
California, and you?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. I think have a seat right here. ¿De dónde viene usted? De Perú. ¿A dónde se dirige? ¿A qué estado van?
California.
California, tome siente. While we're out here, guys, I want to show you guys the stuff that is out here. ¿Dónde vienes? Ecuador. ¿A dónde vas? New Jersey. ¿Y tú? Ecuador. ¿A dónde vas? A New York. I'm just going to show you guys. Look at this right here that I found right here right now. It's actually just like a little bag. Oh, it has drugs. It's got drugs. Ooh, that shit smells. Not even gonna touch it. Where are you coming from? Synagogue? Where are you going? What state are you going? Sí, por favor. Synagogue. Where are you going? New York, Chicago, California. Where? Where are you going? Where? New York? California? Chicago? Where? Ohio? Huh?
New York.
New York. Thank you. Where are you going? You? New York? Thank you. Where are you going, sir?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia. You, sir?
New York.
Thank you. You?
New York.
Thank you. You?
New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank you. Thank you.
Usman.
Where are you going?
Usman.
Usman?
Usman. New York. New York.
Thank you. You?
New York.
Thank you. You?
Yep.
Thank you.
New York.
All right.
New York.
All right.
To overcome recruiting shortfalls. They've ramped up their marketing, including on social media, to entice legal immigrants to enlist. They're also using recruiters with similar backgrounds to appeal to potential recruits. But the biggest draw for migrants is the promise of a fast track to citizenship, plus jobs and education benefits. Both the Army and the Air Force have said they will not meet their recruiting goals this year.
So was this the plan all along? I'm just saying. Was this the plan all along? On why they let all these fighting age men, immigrants, come over here in America? Because we know nothing ever happens just for no reason, you know. Now they're starting to recruit the immigrants into the Navy and the fucking Army.
Where are you coming from? Synagogue? Where are you going? What state are you going? Sí, por favor. Synagogue, where are you going? New York, Chicago, California, where? Where are you going? Where? New York? California, Chicago, where? Ohio? Huh?
New York.
New York, thank you. Where are you going? You? New York, thank you. Where are you going, sir?
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia. You, sir?
New York.
Thank you. You?
New York.
Thank you. You?
New York.
Thank you.
New York. New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank you.
New York.
Thank you.
Usman.
Where are you going?
Usman.
Usman?
Usman Jai.
We need to discuss this. Why are all the major Western borders collapsing simultaneously? This is Italy, where illegal immigrants have overrun the residents of this island 4-1. So not only have they completely overrun this island, they have begun setting up roadblocks like you see here that are keeping the police and other residents out of those areas. They have also shirked the local government and decided to implement their own form of government. And I hate to tell you, but that is not a migration. That is called an invasion. Similar to what you're seeing here, this is one of our southern borders. This is one singular instance where you have thousands of young military-age men flooding over the border. Where are the women and children? What is this? Here you have Eagle Pass, a border town down in Texas. I used to live in Mexico, y'all, and driven through here plenty of times. They've always had illegal immigrants, but not like this. Since midnight last night, almost 3,000, again, single military-age men crossed over the border onto the streets and are probably now in the process of being bused to your city or a city near you. Here in Chicago, they're already starting to set up those tent cities on the sidewalks for illegal immigrants. How long do you think it's going to be till they start setting up roadblocks?
Right now, we're down here at the Lukeville Port of Entry. What city are you going to?
Mauritania.
Where?
Mauritania.
Where's that?
I am from Mauritania. Africa.
Oh, you're from Africa?
Yes.
Why'd you come here?
We are here to be security and...
Be what?
To be security.
To be security?
Yes.
For what?
For our country.
You're going to be security in America for Africa? Well, at the talk of foreign troops coming in here, this made me leave with more questions than answers. Interesting. Doing what job?
For the warriors and...
For the Warriors?
Yes.
What do you mean? Are you going to start a war here?
No, not here.
Oh.
They're in Africa.
So why are you here if you're going to be a warrior there?
Of course, in America you have... In America, you have the security.
You have security?
And the freedom.
Okay. So you're here for training? Why'd you come to America?
This guy said that, he has a card from the government, from the UN, and it got topped up every month. And he was like, this month since he got to the United States that, he has no money on there. And he asked him, how much money did you get put into the account every month? And he was like, 3,000 pesos. And he was like, let me see the card. So the guy flipped the card, real quick, and me being who I am, I screenshotted it. And then I did some investigations. And as you see on the card, it says UMCA and some other words, right? So, of course, I did my digging. And this is actually who these people are, like I said. Unspecified Minor Military Construction Army. We have an alien invasion, all right. We're being invaded right now. You would think that they would announce, hey, hey, Americans, no, because this is an inside attack. That's why they're pouring in by the thousands. These people are getting paid to come here, you guys. He's got a card. He's working. These guys are not just refugees. These guys are not just people looking for asylum. These are workers. These are people that's here to destroy Americans. Wake up!
I explained in past teaching that the book of Revelation has been done before, and it will happen again. They gave us a fake God to worship during the Crusades, which is that white Jesus on a cross. The descendants of Shem are not white. Joshua was not a white man. And they know that when the house of Israel wakes up again from the slumber, because we were put into a sleep, we will know and we will come to a true knowledge of who we are. And they will give us another God to follow. And if you don't, they will kill you. This is the jihad, the holy war. That's why the Muslims are going everywhere. Notice that the colors of the horses in the book of Revelation are the same colors of the Arab flags.
Former head of Hamas and founding member Khalid Mashal calls for a global Muslim uprising, asking for Muslims' blood and souls to be sacrificed for Palestine this upcoming Friday the 13th. Now, with our open border policy that we have right now and the flood of illegal people coming into our country, mostly military-aged young men coming in from all over the world, this could be a legitimate threat. If you're living close to the big cities, head on a swivel. If you're living anywhere, head on a swivel, but especially in the big cities, in the surrounding areas, this could get sketchy. That's all there is to it. As we head ourselves into World War III at the behest of the globalist cabal that wants to sacrifice you and I for their cause. Just stay strapped, stay alert, protect your families, be mindful if you're out and about. From this point on, I would suggest you be mindful when you're out and about, and keep your head on a swivel. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't become a victim. Stay strapped. Stay safe. Pray.
Oh yeah, you know the saying, history always repeats itself. Why does it repeat itself? Don't we learn from our mistakes and do better the next time? Well, history always repeats itself when the card dealer's the same elitist fuck. Hell, we're reliving 2014 right now. Check this out. This is awkward. In 2014, Russia went into Ukraine on the Crimean Peninsula and annexed it, took over. Nobody's Facebook profile picture was standing with Ukraine, and you weren't a piece of shit if you didn't agree with it, and didn't really hear much about that one, did we? Would you look at that? 2014 Gaza War, Operation Protective Edge. Israel bombed the shit out of Gaza after Hamas did a lot of fucked up shit like they're doing right now, but nobody blinked an eye. The difference from then to now. Indoctrination. If you can warp the younger generation, you can repeat history anytime you want.